Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talk Chain, the podcast where we get into all things crypto. My name is Matt, and above me is Rob,
Hey guys, how you doing?
and let's get into it. So, market cap, total market cap is still around 700 billion. Haven't moved too much. I was really looking optimistic to see Bitcoin power through and go back into a bull stage, but that has clearly not happened. Bitcoin dominance at 32.7%, which like I was going through before, it is what it is. Mostly everything is down for the most part. Yesterday it was going all pretty good, and then in the evening, everything just sort of tumbled. So Bitcoin, we're around 13,500. Ethereum hovering around 1,300. Ripple well below 2 now. And there's really only a few coins that are doing pretty good. And amongst them, I see that Neo's up like 10%, which this is, I think, an all-time high for Neo. And there were a couple more. Yeah, VE Chain doing great. 6.35 is the dollar value per coin right now, and it's up 17%. And this is based off of another partnership that they announced on Twitter.
Yeah, so VeChain partnered with essentially China's tobacco industry, which is all pretty government regulated, it seems. I think the top two companies are backed by the state, so it's pretty impressive, and they have. Let's see, the size of it is 772 billion won in sales a year. So it's a pretty big case for the blockchain's usage there.
Yeah, this is huge, and it's also just it's a perfect use case for VE Chain. If you want to go back and see the previous video that we did when we went into more depth on VE Chain and what they're trying to do, they talked about a bunch of different use cases, and amongst the most interesting, I thought were the counterfeiting aspects. So VE Chain is really trying to position themselves as the connecting sort of their blockchain to the Internet of Things and different supply chains. So what they hope to do is to put their barcode, a VE barcode, VE chain barcode onto a product, and then all members throughout a supply chain, as that product changes and turns into a final product, they're going to add information as it goes through the supply chain, and they're going to scan this barcode, and through VE chain's blockchain technology, they're going to be able to validate that this is in fact a product that came from this factory that was sent to some sort of distributing network and was sent here and there. So when it comes to the tobacco industry, they're actually going to be able to prevent counterfeit cigarettes, which is apparently a big problem in China.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I think it's probably a big problem everywhere. If I know in Canada, cigarettes run about $14 a pack, and I think the prices are pretty much going up everywhere as kind of the main deterrent for people smoking. I'm not sure if that's what China would ever try to do. Obviously, if it's state run, they're trying to make a little bit of money off of it. But part of me wonders, do you think that the tags themselves that would link to the blockchain, do you think that would take over like a UPC code type of thing?
yeah, so I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't take it over. I don't know how the technology would be compatible between the two, but VE Chain seems to have a very high. They're anticipating to be involved in almost everything, so I wouldn't expect them to be able to integrate that into their own, into that system that already exists. And it really makes sense. Like, why not have it also, besides just giving like a price at the register, why not have it show where the product is from, show that it's an authentic product, and uh, it's just sort of adding on to what kind of already exists, but using blockchain technology to really ensure that it's authenticated.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can definitely see that. And it would be, I guess it would make sense to prevent counterfeiting from like a farming aspect. I'm sure that there are tobacco farms that aren't necessarily regulated by the Chinese government that exist, that they provide a product that wouldn't necessarily cost as much as the Chinese government would charge. So there's something in it for the farmers who would try to do some sort of underground market of cigarettes that wouldn't be under VE Chain's barcode.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and that's sort of, I think that's what the entire, that's what the real importance is of this thing. Not only is the cigarette market really regulated by the Chinese government, and it seems like VE Chain is going to have some exclusivity there, but the fact that the government's going to really enjoy this, I think, because it's going to prevent sort of counterfeiting. Who knows what else the Chinese government would use VE Chain for?
Well,
Given that,
it does also mention in the Medium article that they anticipated helping them develop products and understand which what sort of preferences that their users have. So it looks like it would kind of help them in the long run as well with any sort of like R&D that they're looking into to see what trends are taking over.
yeah, and as I'm just going through here, so they're talking about the NRCC, which is, oh god, there's like a million acronyms in this article, and
It's
to
the
keep up with
National
them.
Research Consulting Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the partnership involves them, and are you talking about this list of different industries that they're involved with?
Well, so they're a consulting firm, and because we're from North America, I think the number one thing that will stick out there for the companies that they're involved with is General Motors. But yeah, they
Hmm.
are involved in government admin, tobacco, automotive, agriculture, financial services, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah, this, like, what isn't being serviced by this company? Seems like they're in everything.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and I think they're a pretty well respected firm globally. And so it I think that's probably bigger news. Well, I guess it's pretty on par with the fact that the Chinese government has adopted part of it for a product that they endorse.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I think that can definitely explain why VE Chain is not being affected by the disaster or the bloodbath going on in every other crypto.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
the pullback, part of me wonders if people were more just waiting for yesterday to happen, so kind of a bounce back to happen before they all kind of sold off again. So whoever was holding just waited for a bounce back. But uh,
right.
yeah, there are the odd outliers today. So hopefully
Yeah.
those
Well,
continue.
so I guess just to wrap up this part is I think VE Chain is still a buy at $6.35. If you're gonna hold long term, I don't see a problem with buying right now. You know, the entire market is still super volatile, so you can also wait and see if it goes back below six to jump in. But I think if you slowly increase a position, so don't spend all of your money on VE Chain tomorrow. You know, by, if you're trying to get like a 5% of your portfolio position, then maybe put 0.5% of your portfolio in VE Chain today, and then, you know, wait next week and see what the price is.
Yeah, I guess just the typical dollar cost averaging, um, just to see how it all unfolds. It's it's going to be interesting because that coin in particular has really been blowing up. I think it's like 4x of the last month or so.
Yeah, it has. But I think at 1.7 billion, I don't know, the amount of partnerships they have, I think that there's no reason why that market cap shouldn't triple or quadruple.
Yeah, well, we all know the classic Tron analogy.
Well, yeah, I hate to bring up Tron in every goddamn video, but Tron's got the crypto doggies. VE Chain is actually rolling out a product into different industries. So, Rob, you should buy some VE Chain. That's
I
the.
did buy some V chain. Don't
Did you?
worry.
Oh, good. I'm
Yeah, I
glad.
did. This and again for the second time because I do jump in these, make my money, and then I leave very quickly.
Right. So I'm holding VE Chain for long term personally. I think it holds a lot of promise.
Yeah, no, it's something that I'm working on, hanging on to things for an extended period of time. What I did today was I bought 10. I'm just gonna leave it at 10, and I'm never gonna touch it again. So
There
Something
you go.
very, very small, very minimal, and we'll
Yeah.
move forward from there.
Yeah, and definitely in the long run, I think it's definitely going to pay off. Okay, so the next thing that I thought we would talk about is we saw this article in the news about people anticipating tomorrow as being an interesting day because apparently Wall Street, people who work in Wall Street in the industry are going to get their bonus checks, which is no joke. Their bonuses I think last year were $130,000 on average.
Yeah, no, so that was mentioned on a Business Insider article, and if you, which is what it is, but if you were to take a look at the market itself on around the same time last year,
Yeah,
it
I've
it
got that
does
up.
it does show that it was like a little bit stagnant in the lead up to it, and then it does go up quite a bit. The problem with that graph in particular is that the market cap overall is only about $15 billion,
Hmm.
and then you see it jump to 17.5 billion. Now,
Oh,
if it were to be of similar size, the market cap now is $700 billion. So if it jumps up 2.5, that's nothing at all. So I don't
yeah.
know if it'll have too much of an effect. But at the same time, interest for crypto has gone up. So maybe a higher percentage of people will be putting in uh, tomorrow, I guess it would be.
Yeah, I think the article says that tomorrow is when the deposit happens. I have no idea how they actually know this, but this the guy who wrote the actual article, um, he's got a lot of information. So,
Well, apparently it's pretty well known that between the 15th and the 30th are when,
really?
yeah, the Wall Street bonuses come out. I'm not
Hmm.
sure why or how people find that out, but it's people seem to know about it.
Hmm. So the I actually calculated how much it would be. So he goes through. I don't know if you have this, but
No, I don't know.
so the average payout was clocked at $138,000, and he actually listed. I think he said that there were like 150,000 employees or something like that.
Okay. Wow, that is crazy. So they
So
get
we're
you.
talking in like the billions of dollars that are going to people in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, just doing a quick little calculation here. Yeah, it's you know what? That's yeah, 19. That's crazy. $19 billion. That's really impressive. I'm surprised that it's so high. I That can't be the average. I guess it would be the average overall. I wonder what the median is,
Well,
but
yeah, so that's what makes me wonder
like Janice in accounting is not getting 131,000.
right. So that's why yeah, and I wonder what made them decide okay, I've got the article here now. Let me just double check this. So okay, so this guy says that the securities industry added 11,000 jobs in New York City during the past 3 years, raising employment to 177,000 in 2016. So apparently, there's almost 200,000 jobs in Wall Street, and that the average bonus is $138,000. So yeah, that's a ton of cash. That's almost $20 billion in bonuses. But I don't think I really don't think that every single employee is getting like it's gonna be 10% of the dudes that end up getting millions of dollars in payouts. Now,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
knows? So we're putting a lot of whales, I guess, out there in the market, and they can definitely move it. Who knows what percent of their bonuses actually go towards savings? How much of it goes to speculative trading? Seemingly, if they're on Wall Street, they obviously have some trading in their blood, so
yeah.
they're not
Hopefully.
shy towards risk or anything like that. So I think that's why they're going with that narrative right now. But we'll see. I think I'm expecting us to see more more of the sideways action until there's more of a fundamental change in the market sentiment.
Well, you might see one or two winners, if you will, just to see whatever you might see more what Wall Street actually believes in and where they think some individual picks could be that you'd see some gains on. And it might even be something like a VE chain where there is an actual use case for it that does pump pretty hard just because there's a number of people that believe in it with and something more like, again, Tron or Cardano, just items without or coins without any sort of plan or product, they might remain stagnant.
Yeah, and these guys are their technical expertise is in sort of economics and trading and market sentiment. So they don't even, I don't think many of them really know a lot of the tech behind it, but they probably know enough to sort of buy into what coins might be, might have sort of a market sentiment behind them that's positive.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens. And looking through the plus minus for the last 24 hours, I noticed that the financial coins got hit just as bad as everything else. So the Ripple and Stellar Lumens, they're down 8% and 4% respectively. And where is it? Oh yeah, OMG is down 10% too. So we kind of heard last week that Ripple had a partnership with MoneyGram, and we actually talked about that a little bit.
No, that seemed to be a lot more hype than everyone was hoping it would be, I think. But it is a little disappointing because people wanted it to be part of the narrative of cross-border transactions that both Ripple and Stellar are aiming towards. So let me just pull this up here. 1 second. Yeah, so Stellar Lumens itself is a fork of Ripple, a hard fork in 2014 when one of the creators of Ripple went off and made their own cryptocurrency. A lot of the code was also based on Ripple up until about 2016. And then they kind of built it from scratch and started it all over again. The difference between the two, it seems right now, is that the primary focus for Ripple is financial institutions, whereas Stellar itself is more retail investors and more individuals as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the impression I got, and obviously Ripple has way more partnerships than Stellar, but there's a little bit of different quality to the coin. So Ripple has held back the Ripple Foundation or the Ripple Company. They're still holding on to about 60% of their tokens, right?
Yeah, so the main development team of Ripple holds about 60%, which is why it is known pretty well as a centralized coin, where Stellar Lumens plans on giving away, not even selling, but just literally giving them to whoever, 95% of their coins overall, just for a usability purpose. Which the more I think about it, the more I think it's a positive thing, and hopefully that is built into the price, and hopefully the people that are investing in it read about that and are aware that 95% will be given away.
So I think I need to read more about how that distribution is actually going to work. Because I think, I don't know, I'm going to be speaking outside my knowledge sphere, but it seems like outside that, though, they both have a lot of important partnerships. Ripple obviously has a lot more with banking institutions, but Stellar's partnership with IBM, which is sort of speculative but sort of not, seems like people are really expecting that to be a real driver of Stellar.
Well, Stellar and IBM think that there is the same they believe in the same cause in creating a cross-border currency. Stellar wants to be, or the Stellar wants their lumens to be an intermediary currency to be able to send money back and forth. And I'm not sure who pitched it to IBM, but they believe in it pretty wholeheartedly. And as a consequence of that, now IBM wants to create an exchange based on Stellar's platform.
Mm.
And that's called FairX, and it's supposed to be a pretty big rival to Coinbase. So it'll be, if that comes into play at all, which is supposed to happen at some point this quarter, then I think you're going to see the value of Stellar skyrocket, and hopefully maintain if the exchange is even remotely as successful as Coinbase.
Yeah, yeah, that would be huge if it did carry out. And I don't think we have a date yet, an expected date on when FairX might be announced, but I don't know what you're holding, Rob. I have a decent amount of Stellar Lumens right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely have a few. I go kind of back and forth on whether or not I want to hold my entire bag in it until it gets announced or not. But
right.
There's definitely always going to be a little bit of my portfolio will have some lumens in it.
Yeah, I think I have probably double the amount of Stellar than I do Ripple, and I own a little bit of OMG. I don't know too much of the details of them, but I definitely think that diversifying is a good way in the long term. And I'm not day trading very much, so I feel like amongst these financial coins, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 that make it and end up very, very popular and very successful. So I think in the long run, holding on to any of them, especially Request Network too. I also own Request Network, which I also know almost nothing about. So I'm going to read more into that.
Well, Request is meant to be an intermediary for sending cryptocurrencies. I know that they plan on having their mainnet launch sometime this quarter as well, and they are known for following through on their deadlines. So it'll be interesting to see what the main coins are going to be that they're going to have to be tradable. It's not going to be an exchange. It'll be more like an e-transfer platform, a PayPal platform of just sending it to somebody you owe money to.
Oh, really? Interesting. So they're also looking at that individual market, which it seems like Stellar is involved with.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure if they're direct competition with each other or how that's supposed to work, because I know that Stellar is more interested in cross-border transfers. Right. So, yeah, it's something that we're going to have to look into a little bit.
Well, and the thing is the financial space is gigantic. It's absolutely gigantic. If you think of the number of banks, the number of cross-border companies that already exist, like there's room for 4 cryptocurrencies in the space, and with their unique technology or some sort of overlap technology, I think it's very possible that all 4 of them could be very successful in the future.
Yeah, definitely. We can always hope for the best for really for everybody that's involved in it.
Yeah. So that's all we got for today. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you like what we're doing, please click the like button and subscribe, and definitely leave a comment if you have something fun to say. We will be back here probably tomorrow with more of our crypto adventures.
Yeah, don't forget to sign up for our Binance or with our Binance referral codes, KuCoin codes, preferably mine over Matt's. That would be great.
You know what? If you do Rob's, I will be impressed. Just as well.
I have 3 people signed up already. I do look forward to getting more.
All right, and with that, we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Take care.